All right, this is documentation of what is the means of monitoring in inside of a private space, or even in a public building. It doesn't matter the status of the venue. Actually, it's this is showing and regarding the elements of monitoring. In other words, demonic activity that's surrounding you, serving for what are people who are demon possessed in the specific environment and the means of monitoring. And so I documented this very heavily at third party facilitating venue Economy in Ontario, California. This is where a lot of my podcast documentation started. Heavy documentation use of the cooler, and so, again, ignorantly looking at evidence, you're looking at video that's just focusing on a cooler. But what you're actually looking at, you're not marrying yourself to any image. You're mindful of the elements of monitoring. You're also mindful of the specific environment. This is the venue at Holiday Inn in Hesperia, where a fake sun remains directly over my hotel room all day long. Whatever part of the building that I travel to at this venue, the fake sun is directly over my head, which is what I captured yesterday morning. When I go to the hallway window at this end of the building, there's the fake sun. When I walk to the back of the building, to the facing the Motel 6, which is where my window faces, there's the fake sun over my head. When I walk back toward the hallway window coming back inside of the building, it's moving from the center of the building, which is distinct from being over the end of the building facing 7-Eleven. And then when I walk out the front entrance, there's the fake sun on the opposite side. All of those are mutually exclusive places. This is a specific environment. The entity is using a cooler with regard to what is audible activity as it comes on and off. All right. And the entity uses this as a means of stalking with activity. This is achieving what are the elements of monitoring. Now, with regard to the prosecution, you're going to prosecute the utilities. The demon possessed actor, SoCal Gas, if you do not know, the demon possessed actor, SoCal Edison, heavily documented group stalkers as well. The demons are operating their vehicles with logos on them. They're engaged in state surveillance. In the private space, the entity is controlling your appliances, such as your refrigerator, such as your heater or your cooler, whatever it is that you have. This is a wall unit, and it's not coming on based on what is set up. I have it set down to 71 degrees. It's 75 degrees in here, and it's not turning on. The entity is engaging in what is using this, however, when it's not even set at a temperature that I want it at. So in other words, when it's set at something that will be warmer, and while Satan listens to me point this out to you, the cooler comes on. I've been sitting here for a prolonged time, 71 degrees. I want you to see that. And it's 75 degrees in here, and the cooler is not on, has not been on, and all the entity is monitoring. This is used as a means of monitoring when I'm on my communication device, however. All right, when I'm on my cell phone, when I get engaged in physical movement, the entity engages in the elements of monitoring using the cooler, which is controlled by the electrical company, which is a means where the demons who are group stalking you all around, maintaining the elements of monitoring. So you're looking at this. This is contrary to the operation, the way that you are literally setting it, contrary to what you are conditioned to accept. Oh, you set the temperature and it's supposed to be coming on and off. That's not the case. And this is just upon observation. It's set to come on and remain on at 71 degrees. However, it's not on, and it has remained off while I'm sitting there waiting, and the demons are aware of that. This is also how an entity engages in what is harassing you. Okay. And again, Holiday Inn is going to be prosecuted. This is criminal facilitation. This is evidence to educate the masses with regard. This is actually demonic activity. Okay, the cooler is used as a means outside of the bounds of even the way in which it's designed to operate right now, meaning it's set to stay on and remain on at 71 degrees. It's 75 degrees and it's not on. It's not an error. It's not a malfunction. It's not broken. When I am on my communication device, when I'm on my cell phone, and the cooler is set to not come on until it's 77 degrees, the cooler will continuously come on, even though I've set it to not come on. The reason why is because it's used as a means of activity creation inside of a private space, which is, again, the prosecution of the state of California. The fake sun remains over this venue. The demons are surrounding the venue, and it's a means of maintaining the elements of monitoring. And this is the ability to prosecute people, the entity that's group stalking you, including the utility companies, including the venue where you're at. This is Holiday Inn, a third-party facilitating venue. Even when you're in a private space, you're prosecuting the utility companies, which are nothing other than the people of the state. This is, again, prosecuting an entity that's engaging in demonic means of keeping you under surveillance. They're also engaged in federal stalking when you're using communication devices, and things in the private space or in a facilitating venue are used as a means to monitor you, the elements of monitoring. Okay, and it's demonic as well. This is prosecuted also as terrorism via audible activity. Terrorism, while demons are group stalking you, and the demons are group stalking you, and the appliances inside where you're surrounding are acting in sync with the demons that are around. So while a demon is crossing path in the hallway, the cooler is used as a means of audible activity while they're monitoring me. All right, and this is the use of inanimate objects. Okay, while the demonic environment surrounds. This is also maintaining a demonic environment. You're going to prosecute for terrorism. So this is again Holiday Inn. I'm going to prosecute Holiday Inn, and the entity is engaging in what you saw. It's set at 75 degrees is in the room. It's set at 71, and it's not on. The moment that I point that out, let me be clear. This is satanic. Satan listens to me point it out, and then it begins operating as it's supposed to. This is already heavily documented. Reference the evidence in 2020, 2021, the third-party facilitating venue economy in. And documenting the use of a cooler to engage in what is both harassment as an entity, because the more that I pointed it out, the more that the entity used the cooler to, in other words, not function, while I'm pointing out what is the demonic pattern of conduct. It's used to monitor me. It's elements of monitoring, okay? It is currently 10:43 a.m. on Thursday, September 5th, 2024. You're remembering that this is the same thing that the entity is doing with amplified audible activity. The demons that are group stalking all outside. Amplified sound of traffic, it's an impossible occurrence. The entity does that with regard to their knowledge of what I'm physically doing and also what I'm doing on communication devices. It's the same demonic feature using different means with regard to what is nothing other than Satan. Okay, nothing other than Satan that is seeking to hide, if you will, behind some sort of appearance regarding an explanation as to what you're hearing. And you're understanding it's not even an explanation at all. Okay, this is outside of the operation of the cooler, and this is in conformity to a pattern of conduct. When I set it to get warm in here and not turn on, it's coming on, and it's doing it while all of the entities keeping me under surveillance on the internet. Why? Because it's elements of monitoring, demons who are group stalking. This is the work of what the state is doing. The state's going to be prosecuted for it, and you need to know that you don't have any privacy. This is what's going on inside of your private spaces in your home. All right, using both communication devices, your television, whatever it is that you have, you're understanding the elements of monitoring as opposed to looking at the object itself. That's understanding the demonic. Okay, it is currently again 10:45 a.m. This is P.O.C.